You are now watching the Pettiford Report, Christian news on demand. Let's get started.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about a church that you are very familiar with, okay? We're going to be talking about Gateway Church, okay, out of Texas. This is the former church of Robert Morris, okay, the disgraced pastor, former pastor of Gateway Church, who pled guilty to a lot of charges. If you want to go and see what he was charged with, you can check that out in my other video about Robert Morris. But yeah, this church has so many scandals that has been happening over the past few years here. And this is just another one coming out of Texas. Let's check this out. This is coming from the Rose Report. Gateway Church accused of violating a law that has been used to prosecute mafias. Now, what's going on with these mega churches is that they're taking in so much money, so much of your money, and it's unaccounted for. They really don't know where this money is going, what it's being used for. They put out these statements that it's going to missions, it's going to feed people, it's going to build homes or projects, but where is the transparency? Where is the accountability for these churches and all these millions and billions of dollars that these churches are now taking in? Gateway Church accused of violating law that has been used to prosecute mafia. You're talking about a RICO here. We're talking about a RICO here. Now, this is going through the courts. This is going through the courts. All right, and this is a mega church. What is a mega church? If you never heard of it, don't know what it is, it's coming from Bible Hub. A common sociological benchmark classifies a mega church as a congregation with an average weekly attendance of around 2,000 adult participants or more. Now, we know that this church here is a huge, huge church. They have a lot of satellite churches. If you've never seen it before, this is the website here, Gateway Church. I'm guessing that's the new pastor now. But this is the church here. Look at all of the locations. South Lake, Texas. That's where the main campus is. Dallas, Frisco, Grand Prairie, Jackson Hole, Justin, North Fort Worth, North Richland Hills. Online as well. I guess they got prison campuses as well. This is a huge ministry. And so you know that they're taking in a lot of money. How much? We don't know. But allegedly, when Robert Morris, this is their giving platform here, all these different missions, the Operation Christmas Child, Crisis Relief Fund, Single Parent Family, you know, it's probably got a bunch of different ways that you can give here. I guess you can also mail it in. All right. But when Robert Morris was looking for his pension or pay as he was being separated, he was asking for about $600,000 to $800,000 a year for life, for the rest of his life. This church has over 39,000 active members in total. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. So you can only imagine the amount of money that this church is bringing in every single year, right? Well, let's get back to this article because we got some stuff going on here at this church. And thank y'all for watching, okay? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more content like this. But Gateway Church has now been accused of violating a law that has been used to prosecute everything from organized crime operations to pro-life groups. This is Gateway's church, main campus in South Lake, Texas here. Look at that. Look at that church there. Private lake right here. I mean, come on now. A year ago, a group of 4 church members from the Dallas-based church filed a financial fraud lawsuit against the controversy-ridden church. They allege that the church fraudulently claimed that it gave 15% of its members' tithes to global missions when in reality it did not. According to the suit, Gateway should have given a minimum of $15 million a year to global missions, as the church had an annual revenue of around $100 million a year. Wow, for a ministry. However, the suit claims Gateway only gave away $3 million. Imagine if Jesus had these resources. I mean, I knew that Jesus is God. He could do whatever he wants. Look how he fed the 5,000. But imagine if the apostles and Jesus was walking around with this kind of bank. I mean, the world's problems would be solved. Now we know Jesus don't need that money, but I'm just saying this type of money in the wrong hands is a problem. If somebody who really had God's heart could get a hold of this type of revenue, these types of funds, the greatness that they will be able to do, the effect that they would have on the community and the world at large would be quite amazing, right? Let's keep reading. This week, the group ramped up the seriousness of their allegations, contending that the church has violated the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, the RICO. That's the big one right there. The amended suit said that Gateway engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity through mail fraud and wire fraud. The financial deception occurred when Gateway falsely represented where his tithes went, and by promising tithers that they could receive a return on their tithes for any reason, the lawsuit said. So obviously there was a promise that if you weren't happy with what was going on with the finances of the church, then you could ask for your money back. But as we see, this did not happen. Look at this auditorium. Boy, these churches are built for concerts and theater and opera, and you wouldn't think that this is built for spreading the gospel. Imagine the amount of money that was spent to build out this auditorium here. The lights, the audio, the cameras. You see the rig they got here. Just imagine what it took to build this campus. Because Gateway used wire mails, online statements, mail, and more to disseminate false and misleading information to church members across the country. The church's actions should be prosecuted as violating RICO, because of course they were all around the nation, so crossing state lines, and that makes it federal, right? But let's keep reading. If they made these promises with no intention to keep them, that's fraud. They refused to show us where that money went and who it went to, and they refused to give us our money back and keep their promise. So, you go to these churches and they say that they're doing all these things with the money. Your church should be transparent. If you're giving your tithes and your offering to these churches, they should be transparent. And when you start seeing all these new cameras, new vehicles, nice clothes, it's like, wait a second, where's our money being spent? If you want to run your church like a business and not a ministry, then there's going to be some accountability and some questions from the congregants, from the congregation. If you want to run your church like a business and not a ministry, then you're going to be held accountable with what you're doing with the money. Church is not a business. It's a ministry. That's how it should operate. But of course, these churches are not. You want the proof? Look at this right here. All right. Gateway has been embroiled in controversy since Cindy Clemenshire accused the church's founder, Robert Morris, of SA. Earlier this month, Morris pleaded guilty to SA of Clemenshire for years in the 1980s, beginning when she was 12. All right. Gateway induced giving. So you know how these churches do. Come on, give your offering, give your tithes, give your 10%. We're going to have $100 line. We're going to have a $200 line. We're going to have a $500 line. Would you come? Would you give? God's going to bless you for your gift. If you only give today, in the next 90 seconds, God said he has a blessing for you. He will give you a return on your offering. Plant your seed here in this ministry, and God's going to bless you and give you the desires of your heart. Don't that sound like them? Doesn't that sound like them? But that's not the word of God. And that's why these churches can fool you and trick you and get you to empty out your purses and your wallets and your bank accounts and your 401ks and your crypto accounts and your cash apps and your Apple Pay, whatever you got, Venmo. They can get you to go into your accounts and empty them because there is this promise of a future blessing that will never come. And they sell you this every single service. Well, let's get that back to this, right? To violate RICO, at least 2 acts of fraud must have occurred within a 10-year period and across multiple state lines, the lawsuit states. Morris and other church leaders asked for tithes from people across the country doing sermons and through e-commerce platforms. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. The lawsuit accuses Gateway of fraud by contending that the church promoted where its tithes will go to induce people to give, but the church allegedly only gave away a small portion of the tithes it promised to global missions. These false pretenses of giving have caused plaintiffs to suffer substantial damages, including the loss of their tithe money. The lawsuit said, before you give, let me just say this, before you give, make sure that this is a ministry that you can trust, that is fully transparent, that they're not hiding anything, and that you know that the church is doing right by the money that God has allowed his people to give freely. Freely. A free, cheerful offering. Not under compulsion. Not begging. Not putting a dollar amount to it. It's a free offering. All right? But let's keep reading. Let's see. The RICO Act allows prosecutors in this case to take action against the entire church and charge multiple people in the same case. In criminal cases, RICO penalties can tally up to and include a fine of up to $25,000 and imprisonment for up to 20 years for each count. How many counts? We don't know. But it's going to be a lot. If this is all true, it's going to be a lot. Now, I want you to look at this post here that Gateway posted. This was back in 2017. But this can allow you to see the manipulation that they use and the words that they use to get people to give. God never intended for tithing to be a drudgery. He always intended it to be a celebration of thanksgiving, right? Tithing is not even a New Testament teaching, but they continue this in these churches so that you feel obligated to give. It is not a mandate in the new covenant, but it is a main teaching, a main point that is taught in these churches so that you feel obligated to give. All right. Let's see where else we can go here with this article. Let's go down here, because there's a part that I wanted you to hear. It was talking about how they said that they would give them their money back. They promised them that they would give them their money back. I can't find it. I think that's enough, man. But what you see here is a pattern. It's a pattern. A lot of these mega churches do this. They get you to give this money. They tell you it's going to these missions or to foreign missions or to feeding the hungry or to this and that. But when you really look at what's going on at the church, you give all this money. I think this is also seen at Joel Osteen's church. All the money that they take in, but a small amount of the money is actually going to these missions because they have to keep up with their television costs to keep staying on air. They have to keep up with the radio broadcast. They have to keep up keeping up with these buildings and auditoriums, with the maintenance and all of the bills associated with that. They also have to keep up with the staff and the salaries. Man, do we have to get into that? All the salaries that they pay for these pastors who sometimes take in $1 million salaries. They still have to cover that. I mean, you look at this church and you see all of the people that they have on staff, all of the elders, all of the pastors, all the associate pastors. It's crazy. Do you really need all of this? That's why I said it's ran like a business. Look at this leadership staff. You have the senior leadership, the lead pastor, the executive pastor. What is that? I don't know. Then you have the chief financial officer, the executive creative pastor. Then you have the executive campus pastor, the chief people officer. What is that? The campus pastor here, the Justin campus pastor. So we're going to different areas here. Dallas campus pastor, the Grand Prairie campus pastor. Look at all these pastors here. and you think they working for free? Then you got the elder board. I don't know if they're paid or unpaid. I have no idea. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elders here. So you got all this going on at this church that's supposed to be a ministry, but it's operating like a business, like a publicly traded business or a privately held business. Where is God in all of this? Where is the gospel in all of this? All this money being transferred around from your bank account into their bank accounts, into the churches, to Gateway Church's bank account. Where is the gospel in all of this? With all that money, you should be reaching millions of people. But we see all the huge building, the nice cars, the huge conferences, the large salaries, the 20 people on staff, all the executive pastors, creative pastors, CFOs, chief people officer, all these things. Where is all this stuff in the Bible? I mean, you have to look at these mega churches with a little bit of speculation, a little bit of take it with a grain of salt. You can't just think that everything that they're doing is according to the word of God. Because I heard this one guy say, I heard him say that while we're doing Bible, while we're sitting in the pews doing Bible, doing church, they are doing business. While we are doing Bible, they are doing business. While we are seeking out God and trying to be healed and set free, they are trying to figure out how to get the most return on their investment, which is you. They're trying to see how much of a seed offering can they get from you. So it's okay to speculate. It's okay to take a second look and see what's really going on at these churches. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to give your money to an organization that is misusing the funds. And these 4 individuals have this stuff going through the courts. It's not being talked about, but this is happening now. And so what are you going to do at your church, at your local church? Are you going to look and say, is this church doing right by the finances that the members are giving, the offering and the tithes and the gifts? Because if they are not stewarding God's blessing to that church in the right way, something like this can happen as well at that ministry, or worse. And above all, that would be a false church. A church that's all about money, all about offering, all about tithes, all about giving. That is a false church. So I just want you all just to have just a little bit of what do I want to call it? Just think about what's going on at the church services. Pay attention. You don't have to be blind. You don't have to just accept anything. We can use our brains in these churches, in these services. We can ask questions about what's going on. We can ask for financial, what's going on with the financial reports at the church. We don't have to come to these churches and just act like, oh, well, that's the man of God, so he's above questioning. The church can't be questioned. No, they can't. If they're gonna run the church like a business, then let's see the proof. Show the proof that you're doing what you said you're gonna do with this money. Because I promise you, you'll be able to see it. If they say, hey, we're gonna have this back to school giveaway, you see the money is going to that. Okay, we're gonna feed the hungry in our community. You can see the money going to that. So just beware. Beware of these wolves in sheep clothing, because they will rob you blind if you let them. But that's it for this video, y'all. Thank you for watching another episode of the Pettiford Report, your Christian news on demand. All right. And I'll see you in the next video if the Lord says the same. Watch out now. Grace and peace.